doing in here? Well, I'm waiting. Either you tell me or you tell Captain Payne.
Well, you better go and tell him then.
As you wish.
Yes, Bannerman.
Mark, Captain Payne here. Sorry to disturb you this hour, but would you come to my office, please?
Very good, sir. Oh, Lord. What's he been up to now?
Peter, there's nothing to be gained by silence, so you may as well tell me what it is you were looking for.
I can't, sir.
Janet?
I'm sorry, sir.
Now look here, both of you. This is a very serious matter, and I want to know what it is you were looking for. You have no idea, Doctor?
None at all, Captain.
That's not true. He knows what we were looking for.
Don't be ridiculous.
Come in.
Yes, sir, what is it? What's happened?
Dr. Durrard found these two rifling his laboratory, and they refused to say what it is they were looking for.
Well, Peter,
Mark, I can't tell you here.
you have no choice, have you?
All right. We were looking for the phenicium disc.
Phenicium disc? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, surely you must remember, Doctor. It was that mysterious piece of metal that I received before we left England. It was stolen. You said you'd examine it.
Yes, I remember. Are you accusing me of stealing it?
No, Doctor. I just say you have it.
Captain, this is absurd.
I saw it during the voyage here. He had it in that box of his.
The one you were searching?
Yes.
And did you find it?
No.
Only because you've hidden it somewhere else.
Now, steady on, Peter. You can't accuse people without proof.
Captain, there's only one way to resolve this situation. My quarters and laboratory must be thoroughly searched by your men.
I should be very reluctant to do that, Doctor.
But I insist. It's for my own protection.
Very well.
Thank you.
Mark, I'm going to place Peter in your custody for the time being. Janet, you'll go to your quarters and remain there until I send for you.
Yes.
Come on, Peter. Janet.
Doctor, I shall arrange alternative accommodation for you until after the search. In the meantime, I'll send a guard along with you to your quarters so that you can pick up any personal belongings you may want.
Thank you, Captain.
I hope you realize how very distasteful this is to me.
Oh, please, Captain, I understand your predicament. Malicious lying is such an ugly thing.
Yes. Yes, Doctor, it is.
Well, that wasn't very clever, was it?
Being caught?
No, the whole idea. Why'd you do it?
Well, because we were desperate. And finding the phenicium was the only way we could tell Captain Payne that there's more going on in Nigeria than meets the eye.
Yes, but that still doesn't give you the right to break into Durant's lab.
Well, you had the disc stolen from
That
you.
is beside the point.
Well, I suppose I shouldn't have done it. Not that it makes much difference. I was going to be thrown out of here anyway.
What do you mean, because of the business over Gordon's camera? Well, I talked Captain Payne out of that. I argued for a long time and finally convinced him that there was no evidence against you.
You mean I'm not going to be sent home after all? I've made a mess of things, haven't I?
Well, never mind. We'll see what can be done in the morning.
Mark? Well, where do you think it is?
What?
Phenicium disc. I wonder where Durrard has hidden it.
They went to his rooms and searched everything.
What exactly were they looking for?
Some sort of metal disc.
Did they find it?
No, not yet.
Do you hear there? Do you hear there? The library will be open from 10 to
I have a book
1300
that's 2 weeks
hours
overdue. I wonder whether you'd be very kind and return it for me.
Yes, of course I will.
I haven't had time to finish it yet. Too busy with the repair.
Did you find the broken rod?
Yes, 2¼ miles down.
What had happened to it?
It sheared. I'm still waiting for the inspection report.
What a pity you didn't have Professor Gordon's TV camera to help you.
Yes, it was. You know, I can understand Professor Gordon being so upset with the boy.
But Peter seems determined to make a nuisance of himself.
Yes, where is he now?
He's probably in Dr. Durard's lab. They're searching there.
Well, Captain?
Nothing.
Are you certain there's been no mistake?
Oh, positive, sir. They say that they've rechecked it several times.
I'll have to let Captain Payne know about this at once. Where is he?
In his study, sir. He went there a few minutes ago.
Very well.
Peter, I'm going to send you back to England.
Yes, sir.
You must realize that I have no choice in this. If it had been either the camera or the burglary, one or the other, I think we might have been a little more lenient towards you. As it is, yours was a double offense.
Of course, Captain, I would not have pressed my charge if it had not been for the camera incident.
And bearing that in mind, Janet, I'm prepared to release you in Dr. Carey's charge, if the doctor is willing to be responsible for your good behavior.
Yes, of course I am.
Well, thank you, Doctor. But if Peter goes, it's only fair that I should go too.
Well, that's up to you. But think it over carefully. You worked hard to get here.
Peter's told the truth.
Very well. Then this afternoon, the Sienna will be surfacing to rendezvous with a seaplane which is bringing spare parts for Professor Gordon's camera. I shall signal the Admiralty that it will be taking back 2 passengers. Come in.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Captain. I didn't realize you were busy.
That's all right, Savard. We'd finished. All right, thank you, everybody. It looks like just ordinary structural failure.
At first glance, yes, but look more closely. That rod has been weakened by a heavy blow.
You mean it was hit while in use?
No, the damage was done before we started to use it.
But these rods are carefully tested.
I know.
You mean the damage was done after the test?
It must have been.
But how?
I don't know.
I hope you find the Phoenicium disc, Mark.
Well, I do my best. That's why I'm staying behind, to clear you and Janet.
Probably be easier with us out of the way. We didn't help much.
Well, I don't know about that. Still, I've learned one thing. Durard's a man to be reckoned with.
You can say that again. Well, I suppose I better take my photographs. Mementos of Agiria.
You know, that one's not bad.
Well, what about this one? Professor Gordon with his TV camera.
Mm-hmm. Good human interest. Inventor with invention.
Hey, that's what I said when I took it. What about this? I took this from the top of the observation.
Peter, have you got the negative of this?
Yes, they're here.
Good. Well, come on.
Where to?
The photographic department.
What for?
Never mind. Come on. Come on.
Did Peter take this, Professor?
All right. I'll say this for the boy. When it comes to taking pictures, he knows what he's doing. Yes, it's quite a good picture, isn't it?
I think it's a good photograph, Professor. Can you remember when Peter took it?
Yes, it was in my workshop the first morning you came here.
Ah, yes, but when exactly?
Well, I'd just come back from master control room.
That's right. You'd gone there to collect a letter, hadn't you?
Uh-huh.
And you'd left Peter alone in the shop.
That's right.
And during that time, while he was alone, you say he tampered with the camera.
Well, it must have been then. It was the only opportunity he had.
There is an enlargement of your camera from that photograph, Professor. Now tell me, what do you notice about that?
Terminal box is the right way around.
Exactly, and yet that photograph was taken after that terminal box was supposed to have been reversed by Peter.
Yes, well, it seems I owe you an apology.
There's no need for that, Professor. I agree. The evidence did seem to point to me.
Then you withdraw the charge.
Oh, gladly. Let's say no more about it.
In that case, I'll cancel those 2 seats on the plane.
Oh, but aren't you forgetting about Dr. Durard, sir?
As I recall, the doctor said that he would never have pressed the charge if it hadn't been for the camera incident. Well, you've been cleared of that. So what can I do but take the doctor at his word?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but look, if Peter didn't sabotage that camera, who did?
I don't think the answer to that is quite as simple as Peter thinks. I've just learned that there were some rather curious circumstances surrounding the failure of that drill.
Well, how do you mean that was sabotage as well?
I'm not sure. But if it was, then Peter's suspect is ruled out.
Oh, why?
Because the damage was done down in the drilling center, and he's never been there.
Then there's more than one saboteur in Agiria.
Yes, I suppose it is just possible that Gerard has an accomplice down here.
Mark, I'd like your help. I want you to stop work for the time being on those articles. Instead, I want you to concentrate on the missing phenicium and the sabotage. The sabotage in particular. I want the person or persons responsible brought to book. And quickly, before any more damage is done.
Right, I'll do my best, sir.
Oh, when do we start?
Oh, we?
Yes, Peter may as well go along with you. His camera might be useful again.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, we'll start at the scene of the latest incident, the drilling center.
Are we going down in the bathscape?
We're not going to swim.
There. That should do it. Oh, this is better than going back to England, isn't it, Janet?
Not much.
Do remember to stay close to me on the Geo. There's a strong down current at one place, and it can be dangerous.
Don't worry, I won't go anything off.
Yeah, now put this on. You did remember to fill these, didn't you?
Oh, yesterday afternoon, Doctor.
Good.
Miss
Yeah.
Slayton, I'm glad to hear you're not leaving a gear after all.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
In the circumstances, I would like to forget all about the incident in my laboratory.
That's good, isn't it, Janet?
Oh, yes, thank you.
So you're going out on the Geo?
Yes.
Have you ever used an aqualung, Doctor?
No, never.
Oh, you ought to try it sometime.
Yes, but can the equipment be trusted?
Oh, yes, it's very simple, really. The gas is fed along this pipe to the mask, then when you breathe out, it comes back along this pipe into the tank where it's filtered, rinsed, and recirculated.
Very ingenious. Then there's no wastage in this system.
Not as much as a single bubble. Are you ready, Janet?
Oh, yes, Doctor.
Oh. Do remember, if you want to speak to me out there, you must face me directly when you're talking. Otherwise, I won't be able to hear you.
I won't forget.
Doctor, what's happened?
4,500 feet.
Bathscape, Aguirre control. Roger. Report again at 5,000 feet.
Peter, you got those notes on the phenicium?
Yes.
Thanks. Well, can you see anything?
No, it's as black as night out there.
M425N536. Oh, I don't know. You know, those numbers must mean something.
Aguirre control, this is the bathscape. Depth 5,000 feet, all systems fully operational.
Bathscape, Aguirre control. Roger. Report again at 5,500.
Why do you keep reporting the depth?
Regulations.
It's just a precaution. You know, we're moving through fantastic pressure. At this depth, it's about 1 ton per square inch.
Gosh, then what's it at the drilling center?
Well, you can work that out. Drilling center's 35,000 feet down.
Well, let's see then.
Aguirre control, this is the bathscape. Depth 5,500 feet, all systems fully operational.
Bathscape, Aguirre control. Roger. Report again at 6,000 feet.
So at 35,000, it must be 7 tons.
Correct, full marks. 7 tons per square inch.
Oh, yes, per square inch, I've forgotten that. Well, let's see then. Well, on something the size of this, 7 tons per square inch, the pressure must run into hundreds and thousands of tons.
Yes, it does.
Are you all right, Doctor?
Yes, I'm all right. But a few minutes more, it would have been a different story.
What happened?
This tank's almost exhausted.
That's impossible. I told you I refilled them all yesterday.
Well, you must have forgotten this one.
I don't understand. Unless someone else used it.
Janet, no one else has been out on the Geo since yesterday afternoon. Now, I ought to report this, but I'm not going to. I think you know why.
Yes, Doctor.
But you must be more careful in future. A mistake like this could kill. If your gas supply were completely cut off at that pressure, you wouldn't last more than a few minutes. All right?
Yes, Doctor. I'm sorry. Someone must have used it.
No. There's no doubt about it, Mr. Bannerman. The damage was done down here.
Yes, but no. If that damage had only been accidental, surely someone would have reported it.
According to regulations, all incidents, no matter how trivial, must be reported.
But drilling rod sharing's hardly trivial, is it, Professor?
Exactly.
Look, let's just try to work out who would have had the opportunity to damage the rod.
Well, with the exception of yourself, Peter, Janet, and Dr. Derard, I suppose we all did.
You mean Dr. Carey's been down here?
Oh, yes, on several occasions. She was very interested in the sediment layer when we were drilling through it.
Oh, yes, that's on the seabed, isn't it?
Yes, 1,000 feet of it. She examined it for animal and vegetable life.
And since we've been cutting through the rock?
It's paid us a couple of visits.
What about Professor Gordon?
Oh, yes. He's been down here very often.
Why? Surely his main interest is electronics.
Oh, yes, but his camera was supposed to help us in probing the X layer.
X-layer? Well, what's that?
We don't know. We haven't reached it yet.
Well, where is it?
It's 2¾ miles down.
You mean you know where it is, but you don't know what it is?
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Bannerman. Look, come over here. I will try to explain this to you. Now, as you know, the planet is a magnet, and anything influenced by it is said to be in the Earth's magnetic field.
Yeah?
Now, the strength of that field is much greater at the center than it is at the surface.
Well, that's owing to the intense heat and the tremendous pressure of the Earth's core, yes.
Exactly. Now, this instrument can measure the intensity of that magnetic field at any given depth. Now, look. For example, you see, at this depth, the intensity is not very great. But as we increase the depth, the intensity increases as well. Now, that is 2 miles down. At 2½ miles, you see, the intensity is slightly stronger. But look what happens at 2¾ miles. You see, the change is sudden, the intensity far greater.
Well, is that a normal increase in activity?
Oh, no, it is usually more uniform.
Oh, what causes that?
Well, I suppose something which represses the Earth's magnetic effect.
And you call that something layer X?
For want of a better name, Mr. Bannerman.
Mark, look at this.
What is it?
It's an old chart of Ageria.
Oh, yes, I found this in an old desk of Dr. Zebrecken's.
Oh, look, Mark, it dates back to when we were here last time. There's Zebrecken's old blockhouse.
Yes, that's what interested me, too. You see, the drilling center is in exactly the same spot.
Yes, that's right, it is. Captain Payne told me. Well, complete with grid references, too.
Well, what are they?
Oh, you know, Peter, it's a system of dividing a map up into a series of squares, each with its own identifying letter and figure.
Oh, I know. A1, B2, that's all.
That's it. Hey, wait a minute. What are the grid references for the blockhouse?
Well, they occupy 2 squares. The first one is M425
And N536.
Oh, yes, but how did you know the numbers?
Because the notes that came with the Phoenicium carried the grid reference for the blockhouse.
I am lost. I don't understand. What are you talking about, Mr. Bannerman?
The X layer, Professor. I think I have another name for it.
What's that?
Phoenicium. Go on, Peter. Let's get back to Ageria.
Safely back inside, I see, Miss Slayton. You weren't swept away by the down currents.
Why, no, Doctor.
Did you find it interesting out there?
Well, very, thank you.
Now, you'll have to tell me all about it sometime.
Yes, if you wish. But why don't you try it yourself?
Perhaps I will.
Hello, Janet. May we join you?
Do. But why so happy?
You'll never guess.
Well, what?
We found it.
The disc.
Oh, better than that, the source of the Phoenicium.
It's wonderful news.
Well, of course, we shan't know definitely until Subaya's drilled down for another quarter of a mile.
That won't take long, will it?
I don't know, I hope not. Well, how was your trip out on the Geo?
Oh, I'm afraid that nearly ended in a disaster.
Oh, why?
We were out on the Geo, and suddenly Dr. Carey had difficulties with her aqualung.
Well, what happened?
Ran out of gas. She thinks it's all my fault. But I know I refilled all the tanks yesterday.
Why, it's lucky she realized it in time to get back.
Yes.
Janet, you didn't forget any of those tanks. I was with you when you recharged them. You did them all.
That's what I thought, Peter. But one was almost exhausted.
Oh, perhaps somebody else had used it, taken it out on the Geo.
Not according to Dr. Carey. Oh, she was very nice about it. She said she wouldn't report it. And imagine what would happen to me if she had.
Yes, that would have pleased Dr. Derard, wouldn't it?
Oh, he came round to make peace while we were getting ready to go out.
Well, did he touch any of the equipment?
Well, no, he doesn't know anything about them.
How do you know?
He said so. He's never used an aqualung.
You're sure?
Yes. When just a few minutes ago in here, he asked me what it was like, and he said he might try it sometime.
I find it quite impossible to believe that Derard has never used an aqualung before.
Where do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. Where would you hide it?
I don't know.
I know what I'd do.
What?
Be like a dog with a bone. Bury it in the garden.
Oh, yes, but Derard's never used an aqualung.
Huh, so he says. Hello, come in. Hello, Janet.
Can I speak to you for a
Yes,
moment?
of course. What's up?
I just remembered something Dr. Gerard said to me in the cafeteria.
Oh, what's that?
When he saw me, he said, safely back, I see. You weren't swept away by the down current.
Yes, he meant the one on the Geo.
Oh, that's right. Didn't strike me as odd at the time, but now thinking about it,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone mentioned the down current in front of him. So how could he have known about it?
Without having been out on the Geo himself. Yes, of course, that confirms it. Janet, you're a genius. Now, look, stay here, you two, till I get back.
Oh, Mark, where are you going?
Dig up a bone, I hope.